What is going on? All right, so in this episode, we're going to continue the path that we've already been on, which is the infantry and attack power and raising up that power. Last time we talked about the gear and how I would set my infantry up, how I would set my infantry gear up, and how I might prioritize that. And in this episode, we're going to go over the talent points, and that's going to be a real short. So I decided to go ahead and jump into the research that's going to add on to your infantry attack specifically. So we'll go into some of those details really quick here, and let's jump in. So in the talent pool here, it's really simple. I always start from the bottom up. So I'm going to start out with Infantry Offense 3. If you've seen me talk about these videos before, you know how I set this up. So I just want to go specifically into and show you how I set up infantry. So Infantry Offense 3, then I fill up Infantry Offense 2, then I fill up Infantry Offense 1, then I fill up Squad Offense 1, and then I go all the way back down and I do Squad Defense 2, Squad Health 2, and then I do Squad Defense 1, fill that up, fill up Squad Health 1 in that order, and then I finish it off with whatever points I have left over as attacking my weakness. My weakness. So my weakness is cavalry, since I'm infantry strong. Cavalry beat infantry. So my next thing I want to do is get range, because range beat those cavalry. So if somebody attacks my castle right now, I want to maximize what damage those guys do to the cavalry, so they do less damage to my infantry overall. And that's kind of the name of the game in this situation. So that's how I would set up my talent points to maximize my infantry strength, prioritize it that way, and how I would use the remaining points afterward. Now, going right into the research, hopefully you have your T4. If not, you're going to keep on working that tree all the way down, and you're going to, obviously if you're focusing on infantry, work this infantry side first before you finish off the right side to complete the next branch. And so that's something that if you haven't gotten to T4 yet, definitely keep on working that. But if you have, I'm going to give that for a take-in. That's one way to boost up your overall infantry attack power. So I'm not including that in this next set of numbers because I feel like that one's a given. Everybody should be on that path to T4 if you're not already there. And then Army leadership has some military stuff and whole army attack. Same thing with military command, but we're going to skip over all that stuff and go straight into familiar battles. Sigils, wonder battles, and gear. Those are the main points that we're going to touch on here. So in familiar battles, you have a 20% opportunity to raise up your infantry attack. The first one's right here. Did I pass it? Let's see. Infantry attack. And you can get 10% off of that in your familiar battles, and that's as long as you have a familiar deployed in your battle. So that'll boost up your attack power pretty much all the time, because there's almost never a time that you won't be using a familiar in your battle, I imagine. And so that's just something that'll help that out. And then same thing, you have part 2, version 2 of that down here, which adds another 10% for a total of 20% overall on the familiar battles that you can boost up your infantry attack. And again, provided you have to have your your familiar in the battle for that to matter. So make sure that you've researched familiars, that you've got a familiar all the way up to elder, and you've got them battle ready, and you've unlocked the actual battle skill. And then in here you need to make sure that you've done enough research to unlock the very first battle slot, which is that very first one. And so if you've done that much, then you can start working that tree and improve the rest, and as long as that one is in every one of your battles that you're in. And then that's when it'll activate those those extras. And then going right into sigils. So sigils is going to offer you 10% of I want to make sure I did check that out. Yep. So 10% leadership, infantry, attack. Maybe I missed one in here, but so if you have infantry with your leader in, you get 15%. I did miss something here. Wow. So 15% is amazing. And then you pop down here and you do infantry, furious offense infantry for this research. And this is for when you go into fury. If you're in fury, then this is going to add 10% on top. So 25% for this category for sigils. And then the next category, I'm going to skip over wonder battles for the moment and go into gear, because gear, you're going to find infantry offense 2 here, and that's going to give you another 10%. And then that's it in that whole category. There's no other like little infantry offense specifically research that you could do in that whole tree. And so with those specifically, you can get 20% here, 25% here for 45, and then another 10% here for 55% overall, just bringing up that attack power of your infantry troops. And then as a little bonus here, I'm going to go over a couple of others. With wonder battles, you do have the opportunity to grow infantry offense, but only for infantry attack in wonder battles. And so that's something that, like, if you are becoming a lead and you want to take charge of, you know, when those wonders open up, when the forts open up, comment for you're the guy going out and calling the rally and calling the troops to take over the fort, and you're that person. This is where that's going to come in handy for your infantry. And there is a part 1 and a part 2, so you can add up to 20% boost onto the already 55% there that you can get from familiar battles, sigils, gear, and then wonder battles on top of that. And I want to make special mention of, in this military tree, you have these counters, these counter boosts, and this does increase the damage dealt, which is basically an attack, but it increases the damage dealt by infantry units to ranged units, and then it also decreases the damage dealt from ranged to infantry. So that's, you know, that's less relevant to me, but the damage dealt by infantry to ranged is interesting because that's like an attack power. So if you are specifically attacking an army of ranged, this is going to increase your power. Looks like 30%. It doesn't say attack power, but it does say damage dealt. So I imagine those things are kind of uniform in some way, or coupled, or maybe it's a multiplier. I'm not sure. So that's just something that I wanted to make special mention of to close out the video, and just give you the idea also that there's army, military. These guys are whole military boosts, right? So you have a whole army boost in army leadership and in military command that would also add to the overall attack power of any given troop. So if we're in the infantry category, you know, obviously it can add there, and same thing with cavalry and range, which we'll talk about again in the upcoming videos. For that, for now, that's all. If you guys have any questions, hit me up in those comments and let me know what you want to see in these next videos. What kind of content am I missing out on that you guys want to know more about? Hit me up in that comment section, and I will catch you guys in the next one.